Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Kassler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another Saturday live stream on the 18th of July in the year 2020. And it is so good to see all of you. I have a nice stack of questions that have been sent and hope we can get to them in addition to answering the questions that are in here. My sister Tricia has joined in. She's not a ham yet, but maybe soon she will be. See if that helps the color balance any. RIDI contest this week, yes. RIDI contests are about the only time you see RIDI on the air. RIDI stands for radio teletype, and it is found around 14080 on the band. And unlike other modes, it's usually tuned in the lower sideband. But all the modern digital software will flip it for you. Okay, and Harold Goldback got his tech license a month ago. Congratulations. And yes, there are a lot of settings in all of those programs. The key is to get it working the first time. Once you get it working the first time, you're usually in good shape. So, let us commence with a little bit of news. I am going to Arizona tomorrow, and on Monday I'm going to meet with some people about an airplane. And the nice thing about I have a picture of it here. I do. This top one here. It's a experimental light sport made by Rands, which is from Hays, Kansas, and put together down in Arizona. And I'm going to go down and take a look at it. It's available at a good price, and if I like it, I will buy it, and then we'll proceed to the next step, which is figuring out how to get it back to Colorado. The problem I've been running into trying to learn to fly here is the only license I can qualify for is a light sport, because all you need for a medical is your driver's license. Whereas for a private pilot, you need a class 3, which it wouldn't happen. My doctors and the FAA's doctors disagree on what appropriate medication is. So I'm going for the light sport. The problem is there's no light sport aircraft for rent anywhere on the western slope. So I need to go get my own airplane and train in that, which will solve another problem too. The one aircraft that is available for rent, which is a Cessna C-182, a heavier variant of the 172 and more powerful, is pretty much booked all the time. I've been flying like every 2 weeks, and that's crazy. I need to fly like 3 times a week with an instructor to really make any progress. So this will solve that problem. So now the problem is, if I do buy the airplane, I have to get it from Phoenix, actually Glendale Airport, to Montrose. And I haven't crossed that bridge yet. Either have somebody fly it up for me, ferry it up, or I'll go down there and meet a CFI and learn something while I'm flying up here. I don't know, something. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out a way to get the aircraft here. It's a real nice aircraft. It's built by a company called, well, it's not built by, it's a kit from a company called Rands, R-A-N-S, in Hays, Kansas. And it is a fairly popular kit-built aircraft. It's the 6SE6 6SE6 Coyote 2. It was completed in 2007, so 13-year-old aircraft. It hasn't been flown very much. Only has about 200 hours on the engine. So that's the big news. Now, unfortunately, that means that while I'm gone, I won't be putting up videos. I'll be gone probably till Thursday. I've been trying to put up a new, updated Amateur Extra video every day. And I may try and see if I can't get another one today. Okay, we're up in chapter 3 now, and I'm going to get through those as in short order and get those back up in the air. There's been tremendous demand for them. And unfortunately, I've been stymied by the lack of a book. I've got the book now, wherever I put the cover. Here, this is the cover for the book. It's the extra class license, and it is the, get it the right side up, the 12th edition. And it's good from July 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2024. I ordered the book on May 8th. It arrived something like July 10th. So now that I've got it, I'm moving just as fast as I can. My assistant is very carefully comparing the old and new books for material that is different, and we're trying to fix that up. For example, the new book added a section on PACSATs, so I added a little bit of material on PACSATs and a chart to explain what they are. So that is my focus now, is getting all those amateur extra videos up. I know I owe a review of the G90 and also of a Radioddity radio. And I was sent a very interesting J-pole, which I will review. And we'll go from there. So those are kind of the announcements. I'm really going to focus on getting those extra videos up. Now, if you would do me a favor, go ahead and watch them, even if you're not studying for extra. It helps my stats, because what's happening to my stats is not that many people run out and rush to watch the educational videos. And so my stats go way down while I'm uploading all those videos. So if you can help me a little bit, watch those, do a thumbs up, comment on them, so on. It'll help, really help with the channel. So let's see. I'm missing a lot of comments here, so let's see what I got. From Don DeGidio, CQ Worldwide VHF contest this weekend. Henrik says hello from Copenhagen, Denmark. Hello. And the N3FJP software, which is what I use for logging, I think I'm going to go ahead and make that the reference logging software, because it's so flexible. There's a little chunk you can get for your all contact log, your normal everyday log, and then you've got the different contests. Each has its own very carefully tailored piece of software that will transfer all your points over to your main contact log, and will do all the things that you need to do to upload to enter the contest. Ari G asks, why can't I fly the plane back to Colorado? I could if I had an instructor with me. I'm still a student. I have passed my written. I've passed the written, got 90% on the written for the sport pilot. And unfortunately, when I took my amateur extra exam, I told them I didn't want to know the score. But in this one, you have to know the score, and they tell you which knowledge areas you're missing in, and then you have to get a signature from your flight commander that they've covered all those deficient knowledge areas. So they don't let you get away with that there. Yeah, Bill Woodward wants to get back into his flying training. I was reading your DX Commander review on EHAM, DX Commander. Yeah, I'd like to see that. There are a lot of people who really think that's a neat antenna. Is the DX Commander as good as I hear? Well, I hear it's good, so I haven't seen it yet. Good afternoon from Sandy, Utah, sunny and hot. I imagine it was 114 in Phoenix the other day. Tri-Lakes Monument Amateur Radio Association holds you in high regard and they appreciate your videos. Well, great. Good. I do talks to individual clubs via Zoom if anyone is interested. So a whole bunch of 5-star reviews for Cal. Not much has changed so far. I have all 3 versions of the DX Commander. I was thinking of replacing my G5RV with the DX Commander, but that'll be quite a change. From horizontal to a vertical antenna, you'll get a whole different group of stations. 25-year extra class operators need a refresher course. I have my extra, but enjoy the videos. Yes. Thank you. Hello from Missouri. Been there. Chris, don't have one yet. Won't be disappointed. Okay. All the best with your flight training. Thank you. Dave, where I look for extra class study guides. Okay. To get the study guides, let me write that. Well, first of all, let me do this. Let me go to the overhead. These are the two people whose queries got garbled. Leanna Zwiebel and Mike KT4AN. I think what is happening is that people are not filling out all the forms, and the system gets confused when it doesn't have all the forms filled out. So now, having done that, let me answer that question about what is the question here. Okay, there was a question. Where do you look for the extra class study guides? Go to KE0OG.net/extra. Now, I haven't updated this with the new ones. There's 5 new ones. I'll update this, okay? So it'll have the new videos on there. Otherwise, it's the old videos. But this is a good place to go to use as a checklist to make sure you cover them all. Okay? So that's where you can go for that. Back to normal view. Okay. Heat index here in Central Mass, I can imagine. It's terrible. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Nigel Lawrence, thank you very much for your super chat. Very much appreciated. Super chat is open. It's a way of helping to fund this channel if you feel so inclined. Remember, everything on the channel is free, but it does take funding to produce. And so if you would like to be part of that funding, please feel free to go ahead. You can go to dcasler.com/support for a whole list of ways that you can do that. If you would rather not, don't. And don't feel bad about it. Please subscribe so that you'll be an Augie. And YouTube uses as its primary figure of merit for a channel the number of subscribers. So please go ahead and subscribe. After you subscribe, you can either click the bell for notifications of new videos or not, depending on your preference. All right. Love to see a list of rule changes since I was licensed. How do you recommend we keep current operators keep up with the changes over time? Go read Part 97. You can go to the ARRL website and just look up Part 97, Part space 97. It'll take you to a link which will take you directly to the government printing office, which maintains the official copy of all regulations, including the FCC's. Read Part 97. It isn't that long. And you'll have all the rules and regs down pat. The big ones that have changed in the last 30 or 40 years is you no longer are required to keep a log. You don't need to add /portable if you're portable, or even for that matter mobile, but most people do. If you move, you can keep your same call sign even if you've moved into a different area. Now, when I moved from California to Colorado, I wanted to move all the way. So I asked for a new call sign. That's where I got KE0OG. I was an advanced at the time. So, Chaz, thank you very much for your super chat. Very much appreciated. Montrose in eastern Scotland. I'll bet that's an older Montrose than the Montrose we're in. All right. Let's see. When you went to the whiteboard, your volume doubled. Yeah, I know. I haven't. I need somebody who's an expert in OBS to help me set this thing up. It is a sophisticated piece of software being run by a fairly unsophisticated person. I figured out all the stuff for, you know, the regular YouTube videos, which are actually shot with video equipment and audio recorders and all that stuff like that, and then uploaded, whereas this is done with webcams. And Tricia, wow, thank you, Trish. That's very kind of you. Trish is my youngest sister, and delightful young lady. Young lady, she's my younger sister, so she is less old than I am. So that leaves a lot of room there for that. Hello, Iraq. Good to see you. Okay, they supposedly changed the rules in using the radio for business. Not really. You can use it for personal business on occasion. Like they talked about using the auto patch to order a pizza, but then you'd be putting your Visa card out on the air. I wouldn't recommend that at all. The thing that and auto patches have kind of disappeared. It just disappeared completely. Have you used using coax for beverage antenna rather than the regular 12 gauge? Is it supposed to have much lower noise? I don't know. It's it's not a dipole type antenna. Most antennas are some variation on a dipole, but a beverage is a long wave antenna. It's what's called a wave antenna, and I don't know what shielding the inner wire would do. It's not the way it's normally built. It is built in a terminated fashion. Okay. The beverage itself will have lower noise. Okay, let's jump into some of the questions here. This first one is from Ishmael J72IMS. He is talking about a crossband repeater that he's making with a Kenwood TMD710. He's got a little picture of it right there. And congratulations to him for working with that. This next one is from Dennis N9DMS. I'm going to build a 2-meter YAGI for satellite use. Can I use the plans for 7-element YAGI to build a 6-element YAGI by removing the smallest director element? Yes. Or do the dimensions between the other elements change? There are lots of different ways to make a YAGI. By the way, if you go to, I think it's Diamond Antennas, they make a handheld that's about 4 elements on 2 meters, and then cross-polarized with that is several elements on 70 centimeters. And you can handhold it and point it at the satellite and twist it by hand to get the thing to work properly. So take a look at something like that. You may find that that's easier than building your own. But hi, Tricia, from one of Dave's Augies. Yeah, an Augie is a subscriber. If you're a subscriber to the channel, you're an Augie. Ordering pizza. Yeah, I know. That was an example the league used many years ago. I think that people have pulled back from any semblance of business use of the amateur bands. I know that when I did a video with the old tech guy, Kevin. We did a QSO together and recorded each end of it and put it up. And we finally ended up demonetizing those videos because there was some concern that it was supporting the channel. So we just did demonetize those particular videos. And we will continue to do that because I want to be on the safe side of doing that. Let's see. In OBS, I use the same mic for all scenes regardless of the camera. The problem is I've got one mic sitting right over here. And then I've got, when I face over here, you can't hear that mic. I guess I could put this mic over here so you hear it either way. Okay, and Don, thank you very much for your super chat. Very, very much appreciated. Yes, Kevin Laughlin, actually. He is in Oregon right now. It's his summer home. He's found a place up in the woods in Oregon with a bunch of like-minded folks, and we'll live there for the summer and then go back to Arizona for the winter. Okay, this next one is from Michael Hinton. It says, I enjoy your videos very much, and an subscriber will have the tech license soon. Want to use 40, 15, 10, and 2, and 70 centimeter bands, and like to build things myself. Taking inventory around the house here to see what I have to help getting started putting up antennas. There are lengths of coax, antenna wire, Romex, and best of all, 24-foot galvanized tower. Questions how to use the tower. If you're just going to put J-pole on it or something like that, what I would do would lean the tower up against the house and then fasten it to the side of the house and then put your J-pole on top of that. And that'll get you started. And then when you get your general license and want to work on HF channels, you can put a long wire, an end-fed half wave or something off the end of that, and you should be in good shape. Yeah, the 24-foot galvanized tower is not really tall. I'm assuming it's fairly spindly, so it's not very heavy. You put it up against the house and attach it very firmly to the house, and it'll just stay there and be a great little tower for you. Yeah, he went... Benjamin, I think you're right. Since everyone has a cell phone now, there is less reason to use ham radio for anything that might seem to be a business use. I agree. I agree with that. Okay. This next one's from Bob, KL7 Bravo Golf. He got his novice license, W9IUL, in 1964, then became inactive. Next active is KL7HFG in the Aleutians for 3 years. My license lapsed while in grad school and then retested for extra in 89, was active for 5 years. Life, family, and work. I still have my Cushcraft A3, but it's 30 years old and has been stored outside. Okay, you want to take the traps apart on it. The A3 is a trapped antenna. It's a classic antenna. Trapped antenna, you want to clean them out. Get all the insects out, get all the spider webs out, get all the stuff that the rats have tried to put in there and so on. And then just clean it up and it'll work fine. Says a multiband vertical would work best at his current QTH. Is there anything to be gained by sticking on the roof of my garage? Yes. Where the bottom of the antenna would be elevated about 20 feet. Yes. That would be the best fit for my current lot. What about radials on a roof-mounted vertical? Okay. If you're going to use an antenna like the AV640, which does not need radials, all you need to do is stick it on the roof. You're fine. You're done. You'll have a very fine antenna. If you get an antenna with radials, I guess my first question would be why, but you can. Then you're going to need, since it's elevated, you're going to need to put out at least 2 tuned radials for each band the antenna covers. So if you're doing them for 40 meters, you'll need 2 33-foot radials. Okay, if you're 20 meters, 2 16.5-foot radials. You can skip the 15 because the 40 covers the 15. Okay, so, but just go for something like the AV640. Cushcraft has other antennas that are along that ilk. I had an R5 for a while and loved it. It worked really, really well. It's a radialless vertical. What the verticals are is they're actually half-wave electrically. They've got a lot of loading in them, but they're half-wave electrically, and they're end-fed. So you don't need the radials. The ones you need the radials for are electrical quarter waves, and then that needs radials. Thank you very much to KF7GC. Appreciate it very much. And appreciate the super chat. Thank you. One of the big reasons, oh yeah. Yes, it would. Don, you're correct about bypassing the long-distance charges. No longer important. Just build a galvanized tower. Okay, good. We don't have long-distance charges. Yeah, they used to say back during the 50s, because of nuclear power, that energy would be too cheap to meter. And back then, communications was extremely expensive. And telephone calls, I mean, it was like 50 cents for a 3-minute long-distance call. And if you had direct distance dialing, I'm old enough to remember when direct distance dialing came in. And if you know what that acronym means, DDD, you're dating yourself just like I am. Now, electricity still costs a lot of money, but communications is too cheap to meter. So you just use your cell phone and call all over the country for as long as you want. Okay, so that takes care of Bob. This one is from Alexei in the Ukraine. Found a well-performing and easy-to-use logbook app for his Android phone. Now I can upload my logs to qrzcq.com. That site allows SWLs to log in and keep their log records for them. How do you think do I need to digitize my paper logbook and upload it to qrzcq? That's up to you if you want to do that. My records mostly have no correct timestamps for QSO. The problem is that those systems use the timestamps to find matching QSOs. 1 or 2 per hour. And Alexei says his name is of Greek origin, like the Alexander one. Yeah, Alexei is a very faithful guest on the show and makes frequent comments. I appreciate it. Make sure the drain holes in the traps are pointed down. Yes, do that. Now, the problem is insects get in those drain holes. The last low voltage coil was primarily a PBX install outfit. They still advertise local and long distance on the van. Yeah. What is your opinion of 90-degree PL259 to SO239 adapters for coax drain relief reasons? They're fine. Some people have had trouble with them. Double check that your SWR doesn't go through the roof when you put it in. It shouldn't affect your SWR at all. But sometimes they're very handy if you have to push your radio up against the wall or something like that. Telecom costs drop when fiber, yes. Laid fiber in big bundles. Yes, there is still what they call unlit fiber. It means it has no light going through it. AM shortwave broadcasters still have a big utility bill. Oh boy, do they. They were broadcasting 50,000 watts. That's a lot of electricity. AM, well, a lot of the broadcasts are falling by the wayside. Yeah. Okay, this one is from Cark Daniel Villalnati. And he mentioned that I might do a show on the transmit characteristics of the Steppir BigIR Vertical. Could not find it. I guess I never did it. I guess I will have to do that. That is a very, very nice antenna. I do warn you, it's a very expensive antenna. And considering that it's a vertical, you know, if you're comparing one vertical to another, you might get 3 or 4 or 5 dB difference. But it's not going to be like the 10 or 15 dB difference you might get with a good beam antenna. Okay, so I will have to do one on that vertical. This very nice vertical. This is from J2 Echo 0 Echo Echo Romeo. A lot of dits. He's in London, looking for a USB solution, and I'm going to have to appeal to you guys if you know one, because KF7CG, I hope I thanked you for that super chat. Yes. Looking for a USB solution for my Yaesu 817 data port, as Windows 10 no longer works with prolific PL2303. Yes, that's the old chip that was counterfeited so much. He's looking to do data modes QRP and doesn't want to spend loads of money on a signal link or similar. Depends on what you consider loads of money. A signal link's about $100, $110. You can do your own homebrew for much less than that. Let me show you a $7 sound card. This is a $7 sound card. And yes, it is a sound card. You plug the microphone and earphone right into there and plug that into there, and Windows recognizes that as a sound card. Now, the reason that I did that was because the laptop I was using at the time, the earphone jack literally wore out. I couldn't keep the jack working, or the earphones working there, and I used the headphones a lot when I used these Sony 7506 professional. These are studio quality. What says studio on them? Studio monitor. They're designed for high accuracy in sound production, not for sounding good, but for high accuracy in sound production. And I'm going to have to replace these because the leather on them is tearing up and falling apart. They're not very expensive. They're less than $100, and they're some of the best headphones out there. But I use them extensively for editing, so that way I know exactly what I'm getting and whether it sounds right. But that on Amazon is $7. So you can put this in as your sound card to run the radio. Very inexpensive. And works, by the way, just fine. These are available on Amazon. Just look up sound card or sound adapter or something like that. Some people call these adapters because they act like adapters, but they are actually a sound card. So, Deer Valley Airport, not sure. I'm going to Glendale Airport, and let's see. I should be using it on the antenna side. Okay. Did you see Josh got a horizontal Steppir? Well, yeah, you got to pay a lot of money for those. Josh blew by me on subscribers. He's got over 100,000 subscribers now. I think I'm number 3 in terms of subscribers. I need to push subscribers more, I guess. You know, actually, the people who watch my videos, about 2/3 are not subscribers. So please subscribe. If you don't want to get notifications, you don't have to. Just subscribing is your vote of confidence that it's a channel that YouTube should recommend to others. And really, that's where it comes from. Deer Valley on cam every day. Jim Heath, W6LG, has a video where he connected together about 20 different connectors, 90 in wall extensions to see the effect on SWR. No effect, yeah. Dwayne, thank you. Never underestimate an old man with an engineering degree, is what the shirt says. An old man with an engineering degree. And I am an old man with an engineering degree, so... Thank you very much, Dwayne, and thank you for the super chat, Dwayne K4BBN. Deer Valley Airport, many private airplanes, North Phoenix. Yeah, the leather is the weakness, but I just get another pair. Am I referring to the PTT function? Yes. Okay. There are other adapters that will plug into USB and then plug into your radio and provide push-to-talk. However, I think they're all more expensive than the SignalLink. You can try MFJ. They've got one out there. They might. Yeah. And yes, you can use these for Raspberry Pis too. So if someone has something that can be used for push-to-talk for that, I used to use an actual RS-232 port, and I created a little circuit consisting of a single transistor to N2222 to pull the push-to-talk down in order to perform. Does the thickness or gauge of the wire affect the performance of a dipole? The answer is yes, it does. The thicker the wire, the wider the bandwidth. Now, going from 12 gauge to 10 gauge is not going to affect it very much. But going from 12 gauge to 1-inch tube, that will increase your bandwidth. Okay. buy new covers for the ears in those Sonys. I'll have to take a look at that. I think the headphones themselves are getting, after a while, they are mechanical components, right? Inside the headphones, they move, and they eventually wear out. They're just like speakers. Those can be worn out too. When I plug my ICOM 7300 into my MacBook Pro, there's a hum-like sound that happens on the radio. Could this be a grounding issue? Sounds like it, yes. I might need to connect the radio. If you can connect the ground to the computer, it might help. Otherwise, man, you can, I'm trying to think how that comes, because it's all digital. It's all digital. That connection from the MacBook Pro to the 7300 is all digital. There's no analog in there. You can try grounding the radio or putting the ferrites on. That shouldn't be happening. Let's see, ham radio concepts just hit 100,000. Good. They all seem to be aiming toward that. Okay. Great shirt. Only as old as you feel. Well, depends on the morning. My wife found the t-shirt somewhere online, I think. Do wire-wound vertical antennas work well on 80 meters? They can. MFJ makes a ham stick for 80 meters, and it's very narrow-banded. It only covers a certain part of 80 meters, but you can adjust the length of the stinger on it to get it to radiate on different parts of 80 meters. You got to be careful with the 80-meter antenna. You look at the section below, it's black. It's sort of wound, and then there's a tight coil, and then it's kind of loosely wound. You don't want the stinger to ever actually get down inside that coil, because you'll actually burn up the antenna literally. So be careful. Trim the length of that if you need to do that. I am an old man with a math degree, so am I. I got both an engineering and a math degree. Just renewed my advanced license at the 40-year mark. Congratulations. And Reese just ordered a 2010. I think you'll find that to be a great antenna. I tested mine at only about 20 feet, and it seems to work just fine. Yeah. How would one ground a laptop? Well, you got to find a part of it that's exposed. If you plug into, on the side of the laptop, plug a headphone plug into there, it will hit the chassis ground of the laptop. It's one way you could do it. Ferrite beads in anything? Yes. I have a new grounding cord going to the tuner. Okay, ferrite core. All right. New station ground bar. Yes. I've got a video on it. It's Ask Dave number 8. It talks about grounding. Okay, let's go on to some more questions here. This is from Anthony O. Ridlen, KC9QVE. Or he's Tony Ridlen in Marion, Indiana. Since licensed just before Halloween at 2009, but it's been an extra since April 23rd, 2011. And watched Ask Dave number 1. Boy, that was a while ago. Okay. I wanted to know from DXEngineering or MFJ if a halo or silo antenna for Magic Band DX from May to September, which would work best to work Magic Band DX. You probably want a vertical antenna to work DX the best on well, no. If you're going to bounce your 6-meter signal off the ionosphere, it will not matter what your initial polarization is, because it will be converted to both senses of circular polarization It's a little complicated, but that happens. But if it's point to point, the so-called weak signal work on 6 meters, which is everything other than FM, your so-called weak signal work is all horizontally polarized. Your FM is vertically polarized. But if you're going to go over the horizon, well, it doesn't matter. You're no matter how high you put that, a 6-meter antenna needs to be a half wavelength high. And a half wavelength high in 6 meters is 3 meters or 10 feet. So show us your audio setup, microphone mixers, etc. Yes, I will have to do a video on that. Oops, okay, there we go. Back again. Can you just got my 8-foot ground rod today? Good deal. $15 you paid? Okay. Is there any way to learn coding for a 73-year-old ham? Yeah, practice. Try the G0FON software. Is it G0 or G4? FON software. But I'm going to tell you the best way to learn code is as soon as you can get up just a few words a minute, get on the air. Talk to other people. There's plenty of slow code around. You'll find it around 7050 and around 7110. Lots of slow code around, painfully slow code. And that is by far the best way to really learn the code, to get on the air. Trying to book study it won't work. Trying the CW trainers will get you started, but won't get your confidence up. What gets your confidence up is doing it on the air. And if you get flustered and abandon the QSO, so what? The sky's not going to fall. You just go on to the next one. So I don't have a mixer. I just have microphones for different things here. Oh my goodness, is it time yet? No, it's not time. Everywhere. No data. Reconnection successful. Excellent connection. I don't think that one even... Oh, it did a little bit. Okay, sorry about that. There we go. It's back. Okay. What I'm seeing over here on the studio page is delayed like 20 seconds from when I actually say it. Okay, so let's see. This is Anthony or Tony's question. To avoid harmful interference from broadcast FM transmitters and simplexes, start with a vertical or a simple dipole. You can do really well with just a plain old-fashioned dipole on 6 meters. This is from Gretchen. Just barely getting interested in the ham radio, need a good video on the very basics of how it all works. Which of your videos is geared towards someone like me? Okay, I'm going to go to the screen, and I'm going to go in my website to ke0og.net. Just that. And there is a video down here. This is made by someone in the RSGB, the Radio Society of Great Britain, and is a young lady describing amateur radio. And she does a fantastic job indicating what ham radio is. The best summary I have ever seen. She's a very articulate young lady, does a good job. And then up here, if you'll look up here where it says technician, and you click on that, it is ke0og.net/training or dcastler.com/handed. What is going on with the internet here? Something strange. But you see this video, how to get your ham radio license? Watch that. And then as you scroll down, it's got all of the lessons for technician. All of them. There are 35 if you count the one that's how it says where to go to take the test, okay? That will get you started in ham radio. And, of course, that's available to anyone. Now, this shows that I'm connected again, so let me go back to normal view there. So Gretchen, I hope that answers your question. This next one is from Maurice. I want you to try MFJ Xiegu X5105. I have. There is a video on it. Go to dcastler.com/previous and search that page for X5105, and you'll find my review of it. See how far it transmitted. That's QRP radio. You can go a long ways with a QRP radio, especially on CW. Now, I'm testing out their newer radio, the G90. The G90, which I have right here connected up in my station right now, it's connected to my antenna's 80 through 10 end-fed half-wave and seems to be working very nicely. G90 is actually, I think, a little less expensive, and you get more power out of it. Now, I would, and Maurice wants me to try, in addition, Maurice, these are two from Maurice. This next one from Maurice wants me to try the XPA125B, which you can stick on the either the X51 or X5105 or the G90. The League, in its review, recommends that since the spurious emissions of the G90 are close to the limits anyway, that you not put an amplifier on it, because then you will be out of spec on the thing. So I would recommend that you not use that amplifier. But it's got 20 watts, which is more than enough for CW. And I'm surprised how well it works on sideband. I really am. I've had some QSOs on it. I'm making notes as I make QSOs so I can really give it a good full review. One thing it seems to be missing, the G90 is missing, is digital noise reduction. I can't find any on there. It makes reference to it, but there's nothing in the manual about it. Okay, let's see. Wow. Ground rods, $12 at Home Depot. Good. Yeah, I'm sorry for the little interruptions. I'm sure it's local on my part. Will a mag loop work well in an attic where I'm in an HOA? It very well might, Bill. If you have room to put up a dipole, it might be better, but the mag loop would work well. But you're going to need something like the MFJ mag loop because it has a remote tuner, and you have the tuner in your shack. Okay, and then that way you can tune it without having to crawl up into the attic to tune it. Okay. Can anyone provide a link to the female from Great Britain with a good intro video? It's at qrzcq.net. And if you go there, it's a YouTube video, so you can follow it to its YouTube source. Okay. Hello from the Go to Hams. Ken Mixon, hello. Clubs are challenging during COVID-19, but it's grown. Okay, and I did a little video about his club. He is a fairly new ham who grabbed the bull by the horns. Didn't find a club he liked, so he formed one. And they do things like weekly activities with their new hams, on-the-air activities, and they're growing because when somebody becomes a new ham, they immediately become part of a social group that keeps in touch with each other via ham radio. And they do field trips, they do picnics, they do all kinds of things to make it a very supportive environment. And they do it weekly, and that really makes a difference. Have to run. Have a safe trip to Arizona. Thank you. The G90 does have a DNR in it. Don, send me an email to hamradioanswers@gmail.com showing me how to get to it. And I just got a notice that there's a new firmware version for it. So, do you have any info on the TYT 9800? I do not. It's not insulation with a foil backing for metal roof. Yeah, that's true. Okay. This is Maurice again. Send me info on to get the general license. Go to ke0og.net/general. to get the equivalent list for general. And you might guess this, ke0og.net/extra to find all the extra stuff. And I need to mark the ones that are new in there. I haven't done that yet. Okay, this is from Chris Markham. Chris Markham is a pretty new, Chris Markham KO4ESR. Pretty new ham, and also do search and rescue. We're in North Georgia mountains, and the 5-watt radios, we're getting around 1 kilometer through the trees, so it's handhelds. There are repeaters around, but we have the same problem reaching repeaters. Tried looking in search and rescue forums, but the antenna discussions I found are for aircraft. Open to making my own antenna. The NanoVNA on the way, and have made a YAGI. The YAGI's 2 meters are a little bulky to be carrying through the woods, but they do work. My recommendation would be a J-pole. There are 2 ways you could do it. You could do a roll-up J-pole. I did a video on one of those. And then just hang it from a tree when you want to transmit. Now you've got a full-size antenna. Or get a stiff J-pole and just carry it with you. I don't know, if you make it strong enough, you can use it as a walking stick and then turn it around and use it as a J-pole antenna. That will give you much better results in those woods with your handhelds. Bob, thank you very much, from Bob Taylor, WB6TIS. Thank you for your super chat. Okay, do you have any info? No, I don't. Let's see. Lowe's, check out Ham Radio 2.0. Jason may have reviewed it. Yeah, he may well have. The other channels, you know, there is a consortium of YouTube, ham radio YouTubers. They get together. If you go to Ham Radio 2, all one word, Ham Radio and the number 2.com, you'll find information about this consortium of YouTubers. I'm sort of a member sitting on the side. I haven't really dived into it. I've not dived into a big push for subscribers. Maybe I should. I'm a little over 71,000. It'd be nice to get to 100 because you get a plaque from YouTube for that. Plus you get a little bit more special treatment from YouTube. Ham radio is, YouTube is growing. Most of these newer YouTubers are a lot younger than I am, and their audiences are younger. We can look at the demographics on the YouTube analytics. And Kevin Laughlin and I have about the same demographics. Most of these guys have younger demographics. And they know a little better how to appeal to today's millennials and whatnot. I'm an old baby boomer. So, okay, this is from Clark Markman, KO6ESR. All right, he is the one who was looking for an acceptable antenna to use in the woods. And I would recommend a roll-up J-pole and then just hang it from a handy tree and use it. Or a J-pole that you can use as a walking stick. Or you can take a walking stick and run a wire along it and turn it into a J-pole. You can do that too. Do you know any repairman that can fix a Yaesu FTD X3000 with no audio? Just Yaesu. Those are the only people I know, just Yaesu. Contact Yaesu. Go to hams is the kind of adaptation amateur radio needs to remain viable and growing. Yes, I agree. The once-a-month meeting of baby boomers is not going to pass the torch to a new generation. No, it's not. When I worked with Bart Jr., the Boulder Amateur Radio Club Junior Division, we had kids from age 8 to 18 and taught them ham radio. More than 200 kids went through that program and got their licenses, including both of my children, and I might add my wife. And it was a fabulous program. The two principals have passed away, Rip and Ellie Van Winkle. and wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people. I was fortunate I was able to meet them again shortly before they died. But that program is still going. It takes somebody who's retired, who does this as their retirement project, because you've got to round up a bunch of Elmers so that when you have your weekly meeting, there's 5 or 6 adults there to teach various kids at various levels. We used to have to do Morse code back in those days, so we'd have Morse code practice. Don't anymore, but there are kids who made it all the way to extra. So, and I got my extra because there was a teenager I was mentoring on his extra, and I was advanced, and I wasn't going to let some teenager beat me to extras. So I got on the ball, studied my extra, and I passed it, and also passed the 20 word per minute code at the time, which is 20 words a minute faster than you need to do now. But yeah, that's what it takes. It takes that kind of dedication. Kids need structure. They need activities. They need each other. They need challenge. And they loved the fox hunts. They loved, they did their own field day every year, separate from the Bark seniors, and just loved it. And of course, there's a lot of adult activity that has to go on too. And in the middle of all of this, you've got to maintain all the usual rules that you need when dealing with youth and to ensure their safety and so on. It takes someone with Ellie Van Winkle's incredible dedication. She was a Jewish mother in the best sense of the term. She wasn't actually a mother. She was Jewish, and she admitted she was a Jewish mother. But boy, oh boy, did she take care of those kids. It was fantastic. It was an honor to have worked with them. They were fantastic. But that's what it takes to get youth into ham radio. And like you say, a once-a-month club of a bunch of old baby boomers sitting around arguing over the minutes of the last meeting is just not going to do it. Okay, yes, it was, and I believe continues to be. And, in a way, I'm trying to use that same kind of approach here with the channel. The channel started out as an education program for a technician and grew. And then when I had finished the extra, and Augie suggested that I do an Ask Dave type thing. So that's what I've been doing ever since. And I've kind of ramped it up during the pandemic, and it's done very well. And I thank you. This is your channel, and I'm trying to answer your questions and do what you need. And I'm using your money doing it, so... David Sapadin N9DMS says he has a space problem, no place to stretch a dipole, small attic. I once stretched a dipole in our living room. That didn't go over very well with my wife, but there it was. An antenna called a Maldol HVU8, which is the same as the MFJ 2389. I don't know what it is. Radials, let's look up MFJ 2389. This is our last question here. MFJ Enterprises, and we'll do this one in the MFJ 2389. It's a compact vertical 8-band 80 to 20 8 bands. Let's see how tall it is. It doesn't say. Let's look at it, see if it says how tall it is. But that's a weird looking thing. Oh, that's basically an octopus or something similar to it. Vertical compact 80 through 2 meter plus UHF 200 watt PEP antenna. Is a description. Just 8.5 feet tall. Okay. Yes, that would fit in an attic. Yes, it would work. I would expect that you would not be able to cover every band until you get up to 20. you might be able to cover the whole 20. So you'll have to choose which portion of 80, which portion of 40 you want to get on, and then you'll cover the rest up there. Does it work? It's not an optimum antenna. It's loaded. It's heavily loaded. But it can still probably do pretty well. So, yeah, give it a try. That would be a good one. Let's see what we have here. Fox hunting is a lot of fun. Yeah, I've got a fox hunting antenna. It's a time difference of arrival thing. It's real fun. It's called the Fox Finder, and if you do a search on my videos, you'll find the Fox Finder, and it explains how to make one. Supporting the younger people. Oh, they'd love it. Love it, yes. Once again, a great show. This is from Mark Waldrop, who says, thanks. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it very much. Very, very much indeed. Okay, we are out of time. We've been through all the questions that came in specific for this one, plus the leftovers from Thursdays. So we're kind of up to date on the recent questions. And I will let you know Thursday night what I learn about an airplane, and we'll figure that out. And in the meantime, I'm going to say 73 to all of you. Please subscribe if you have not subscribed. And then I would urge you to go ahead and click the notifications button if you would like to. And then if you do that, you'll get an email every time a new video goes up. Also, you'll get an email every time the live stream goes live. And I try to do that 15 minutes prior. So if you just remember, it'll be 7 p.m. Mountain Time. So 6, 7, 8, 9 across the U.S., regardless of daylight or daylight savings time or not. The one on Saturday is tied to 1900 UTC because we tend to catch more worldwide users, and so that will stay at 1900. During standard time in the U.S., it's at noon. During daylight savings time, it is at 1 o'clock. So, OG channel, very good. Benjamin, thank you. All right, thank you, everybody, and yes, please hit the like button out there and subscribe. We peaked at about 205 concurrent users, chat revenue of 122. YouTube takes its chunk out of that, and the rest goes into channel funds, which are used to fund all the different types of things that happen with this channel. Thank you all very much. 73. I will see you on Thursday. I may be able to get up another video for the extra, but that is my primary focus right now, is getting those extra videos up. So 73, thank you very much. See you next time.